The year was 1988. The internet, in its nascent stage, was a playground for researchers and academics, a digital frontier brimming with promise. Little did they know, a storm was brewing, a digital tempest poised to unleash chaos upon their pristine electronic landscape. On November 2, 1988, that storm arrived, not with a bang, but with the silent infiltration of a self-replicating program, a digital entity that would soon be known as the Morrie Worm. It began subtly, a slight lag in system performance, an almost imperceptible slowdown. Like a whisper in the digital wind, the worm insinuated itself into systems, consuming resources, multiplying and spreading. It was an insidious invasion, a silent alarm that soon escalated into a full-blown digital epidemic. The internet, this new frontier of interconnected possibilities, was under attack. It was an unprecedented event, a wake-up call to a world on the brink of a digital revolution, a stark reminder that with connectivity came vulnerability. The digital Wild West was about to witness its first major showdown, and the stakes were higher than anyone could have imagined. The Morrie Worm, a self-replicating program, was unlike anything the burgeoning internet community had ever encountered. It was a digital parasite, designed to spread from one computer system to another, exploiting vulnerabilities and replicating itself with alarming efficiency. This wasn't a random act of digital vandalism, it was a carefully crafted piece of code designed to exploit specific weaknesses in the Unix operating system. The worm's primary mode of attack was through a loophole in the debug mode of the SendMail program, a commonly used email utility. It exploited this vulnerability to gain unauthorized access to systems, injecting its code and turning them into unwitting accomplices in its digital rampage. It was a domino effect, with each infected machine becoming a launchpad for further attacks. But the worm's ingenuity didn't stop there. It employed a clever tactic known as password cracking to gain access to systems where the SendMail exploit failed. By rapidly trying common passwords, the worm could brute force its way into unsuspecting machines, further amplifying its reach. The worm's impact was swift and merciless. Systems ground to a halt, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of replication attempts. Researchers watched in disbelief as their networks, their digital havens, succumbed to the relentless onslaught. The internet, once a beacon of collaboration, was now a digital battlefield, and the enemy was a silent, invisible force multiplying at an alarming rate. Behind this digital mayhem was not a seasoned cybercriminal or a shadowy organization bent on digital terrorism, but a brilliant, albeit misguided, Cornell University graduate student, Robert Tappan Morris. A young man of exceptional programming prowess, Morris was the son of Robert Morris Sr., a renowned computer scientist and, ironically, a pioneer in the field of computer security. Driven by a combination of intellectual curiosity and a desire to test the limits of this burgeoning digital frontier, Morris had set out to create a program that would spread across the internet, a digital hitchhiker with an insatiable appetite for exploration. His intention, he later claimed, was not malicious. He had merely sought to gauge the size and scope of the internet, to measure its vastness. However, in his zeal for exploration, Morris had overlooked a critical flaw in his creation, a single error in his code that would have catastrophic consequences. This oversight transformed his benign experiment into a digital plague, a self-replicating monster that spiraled out of control, wreaking havoc on a scale he could never have anticipated. The irony was not lost on anyone. The son of one of the foremost experts in computer security had inadvertently unleashed one of the most significant cybersecurity incidents in history. It was a stark reminder that even the brightest minds, driven by the best intentions, could make mistakes with far-reaching consequences in the unforgiving realm of cyberspace. The Morrie Worm's rampage left a trail of digital wreckage in its wake. Universities, government agencies, and research institutions across the United States found themselves grappling with crippled systems and paralyzed networks. The Pentagon, NASA, and countless other institutions reliant on this nascent network were forced offline, their operations disrupted by the relentless digital onslaught. The financial toll of the worm's rampage was substantial, estimated to be in the millions of dollars. But the true cost of this digital blitzkrieg extended far beyond monetary losses. It was a blow to the very foundation of trust upon which this interconnected world was being built. The worm exposed the fragility of the internet, its vulnerability to even seemingly innocuous code. It served as a stark reminder that this digital frontier, while brimming with promise, was also fraught with peril. The Morrie Worm was a wake-up call, a digital shot heard around the world, signaling the need for robust security measures in this increasingly interconnected age. Section 5. The Cyber Sleuths, Trailing the Digital Phantom. As the digital dust settled and the extent of the damage became horrifyingly clear, a frantic scramble ensued to contain the outbreak and track down the perpetrator of this digital mayhem. A team of expert programmers and security researchers, pioneers in this new frontier of cybersecurity, banded together to dissect the worm's code, to understand its inner workings, and devise a way to halt its relentless spread. Their investigation led them to a server at MIT, a digital breadcrumb that pointed towards the worm's origin. It was here, within the hallowed halls of one of the world's leading technological institutions, that the digital fingerprints of the perpetrator were discovered. The pursuit of the worm's creator had taken on an urgency that transcended the technical realm. This wasn't just about fixing a software glitch, it was about holding someone accountable for unleashing chaos upon a critical piece of infrastructure. The internet, still in its infancy, was already too vital to the world's interconnected future to let this act of digital aggression go unpunished. The investigation soon zeroed in on Robert Tappan Morris. As the evidence mounted, the weight of his actions began to dawn on the young programmer. He had never intended for his creation to cause such widespread disruption, but his naivete was no excuse for the consequences of his actions. Section 6, Justice Served, the Trial of the Century, well, almost. In 1989, Robert Tappan Morris was formally charged under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, becoming the first person to be convicted under this relatively new legislation. The trial, a landmark case in the annals of cybersecurity law, captivated the nation and brought the issue of computer crime into the public consciousness. The prosecution argued that Morris's actions, while not driven by malicious intent, were nonetheless reckless and irresponsible. His failure to adequately consider the potential consequences of his experiment had resulted in significant damage and disruption. The defense, on the other hand, painted a picture of a brilliant but naive young man, driven by intellectual curiosity rather than criminal intent. They argued that Morris had never intended to cause harm, and that his actions were a product of youthful overexuberance rather than malice. The jury ultimately sided with the prosecution, finding Morris guilty of violating the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. This verdict, a landmark decision in the burgeoning field of cybersecurity law, sent a clear message. The digital realm, while seemingly intangible, was subject to the rule of law, and irresponsible actions within it would have real-world consequences. Section 7. Life After the Fall, Robert Tappan Morris's Redemption Arc. Following his conviction, Robert Tappan Morris was sentenced to 3 years probation, 400 hours of community service and a $10,000 fine. The court's decision, while acknowledging the severity of his actions, also recognized his lack of malicious intent. The aftermath of the Morrie Worm incident had a profound impact on the young programmer. He retreated from the public eye, grappling with the consequences of his actions, and the realization that his legacy would forever be intertwined with this infamous event. However, rather than succumbing to the weight of his past, Morris chose a path of redemption. He returned to academia, immersing himself in the world of computer science and becoming a respected figure in the field of distributed computing. He co-founded the successful startup ViaWeb, later acquired by AOL, and went on to join the faculty of MIT, ironically the very institution from which his digital journey had taken a fateful turn. Morris's story is a testament to the power of redemption, a reminder that even amidst the wreckage of our mistakes, we have the capacity to rebuild, to learn, and to contribute meaningfully to the world. Section 8. Echoes of the Worm, Cybersecurity's Debt to the Chaos. The Morrie Worm incident, while disruptive and costly, proved to be a pivotal moment in the evolution of cybersecurity. It exposed the vulnerabilities of the internet, highlighting the need for robust security measures and a collective responsibility in safeguarding this increasingly interconnected world. In the wake of the worm's rampage, cybersecurity emerged as a critical field of study and practice. The incident spurred the creation of computer emergency response teams, or CERTs, worldwide, organizations dedicated to responding to and mitigating digital threats. The Morrie Worm also served as a catalyst for the development of new security protocols, software patches, and a heightened awareness of the importance of responsible computing practices. The incident forced the world to confront the reality that the internet, this vast and interconnected realm, was only as strong as its weakest link. Section 9. The Future, Haunted by Ghosts of Code. Today, over 3 decades after the Morrie Worm incident, the internet has undergone a metamorphosis, evolving from a niche academic network into the very fabric of modern society. The lessons learned from that fateful event continue to resonate, shaping the way we approach cybersecurity in an era of unprecedented connectivity and ever-evolving digital threats. The Morrie Worm serves as a stark reminder that even the most sophisticated systems are vulnerable to exploitation. Human error, unforeseen vulnerabilities, and malicious actors will continue to pose challenges in the digital realm. The future of cybersecurity hinges on our ability to anticipate and adapt to these evolving threats. This requires ongoing investment in research and development, collaboration across industries and borders, and a collective commitment to responsible digital citizenship. The Morrie Worm, a ghost in the machine, continues to haunt the digital landscape, a reminder of past mistakes and a harbinger of challenges yet to come. But it is also a testament to our resilience, our capacity to learn from our mistakes, and our unwavering determination to build a safer, more secure digital future.